Oh, good Lord Jesus. Yeah, we are live. We are back live once again. This is We-On-Loc Nation on a late night live stream. Streaming on both Twitch and IG, Instagram, and on YouTube. And it's a little bit more mellow, but a bit more serious when it comes to this AI situation that's going to be a lot larger. So stick around for that. Plus, Jasmine Crockett had a birthday today. Shouts out to Jasmine Crockett. We're going to get more into detail in just a little bit, but do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Did I do that wrong? Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on a second. Let me put that over here. I should be coming right around to you in the next couple of minutes. All right, without further ado, welcome back to the live stream. Let's get into this AI situation where Representative AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders were introducing some interesting things about AI data, and how when I listen to it, I can tell you my take on the pros and the cons of this nightmare that will literally put us into judgment.
We are at the beginning of the most profound technological revolution in world history, period. The most profound technological revolution in world history, a revolution that will bring unimaginable changes to our society in a relatively short period of time. Artificial intelligence and robotics will impact our economy, our democracy, our privacy rights, our emotional well-being, our environment, and even our very survival as human beings on this planet. The scale, scope, and speed of this transformation will be unprecedented. According to Demis Hassabis, who is the head of Google DeepMind, the AI revolution will be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and 10 times faster. In other words, AI and robotics will have 100 times impact in terms of what the Industrial Revolution did. And it's not just what AI companies are saying, it's what they are doing. This year alone, 4 major AI companies are expected to spend roughly $670 billion building data centers, and tens of billions more on research and development. Despite the extraordinary importance of this issue and its impact on every man, woman, and child in this country, AI has received far too little serious discussion.
I mean, it's that part about data centers all over the world. That part is good for people who want to um, have employment or who wants to get a job, but you got to know cybersecurity. You got to know your cyber data and all these other good things. And but what that means to the rest of the world who doesn't know anything about cybersecurity, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, and little do they know, um, AI is only getting stronger. It's going to get stronger. It's going to get faster. It's going to get smarter. Um, this has been happening. I'm not surprised, not shocked at it, but how they're presenting it, it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary to the hundreds of millions of workers around the U.S. and what it means to them. But let's continue.
Here in our nation's capital, I fear that Congress is totally unprepared for the magnitude of the changes that are already taking place. While Congress has not paid attention or enough attention to this issue, the American people have. According to a recent poll, 79% of voters are concerned that the government does not have a plan to protect workers from AI job losses. That same poll also found that 56% of voters, majority of voters, are concerned about losing their job or having someone in their family lose their jobs in the next year, not in the next 10 years, in the next year. Why are the American people so concerned? And the answer is they have a lot of reasons to be concerned. They understand that at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, when the billionaire class has never, ever had it so good, some 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. And the American people understand that the AI revolution, these massive investments, are being driven by some of the wealthiest people in our country and the world, people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Larry Ellison. They understand that these billionaires are investing huge amounts of money into AI and robotics, not to improve life for working families, but to dramatically increase their own wealth and power. Do you think the average American is sitting around trusting that the multi-billionaires are going to transform society for the good of ordinary people? I don't think so. In terms of the impact that AI and robotics will have on working people, let us listen to what the tech oligarchs themselves are saying.
Hey, like I said, keep in mind, it's not just, you know, jobs that are going to be affected. Human lives are going to be affected as well. I mean, it was something to be said when when these movies of, what robots, cyborgs, and androids and everything else came into play. You knew, somehow we knew, us, Gen Xers and some baby boomers and millennials, we all knew at some point this was bound to happen. It's like, no, 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 they ain't gonna put people out of work. They already are. Millions of lives, millions of lives are at stake. I mean, if you don't believe me, you can all look at the homeless population. I mean, you already got cyber cars. I mean, they suck, but they're getting improved each and every single year, um, paving the way for cyber cars, cyber trucks. I hate those cyber trucks. I mean, self park. You got cars that self park themselves. I mean, you got cabs you don't need cab drivers anymore. You can go literally to a 4 or 5 star hotel and get an AI cab. It just self drives itself. Wherever you want to go, it'll take you. Future's looking kind of brick.
Not the Congresswoman, not me. Let's hear what the tech oligarchs are themselves saying. Elon Musk, who has made massive investments in AI and robotics, has stated, and I quote, AI and robots will replace all jobs. That's about it. Replace all jobs. Bill Gates, another who's also made massive investments, has said humans, quote, won't be needed for most things, end quote. And Mustafa Suleyman of Microsoft AI predicts that most white-collar work could be automated within the next decade. What we are talking about, therefore, is the possibility that AI and automation could displace tens of millions of workers in the United States from their current employment.
McDonald's, they taking away your McDonald's, your Burger Kings, your In-N-Out burgers, your Water burgers. Take away the people in your grocery stores, because those people are going to be out of work. The ones that scan your products and everything, you already got AI for that. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. It gets crazier, and it gets faster. People, AI can pick up on your telephone calls, your emails, pretty much everything. And I'm not surprised that they know your bank account, your routing numbers, all that stuff. And they're already working. If you've seen a video of when Melania Trump came from the White House hallway, you seen what was in front of her. An AI robot was right in front of her. That said to me that the future for human beings is looking kind of brum. Now, how we go about these things, how we control these things is clearly up to the American people. Now, if you follow movies, and I wouldn't take these things so serious, but I would be well aware. I would be the word I'm looking for. I'm not naive to see this come to fruition and it be a big deal. So if I were you, I get on my if you think this is cool for the economic side of the game, go ahead and get a cyber job. Go ahead and get cybersecurity, because that's where it's at. And when it comes to the marketplace, it's very good for marketing. It's very good for marketing, and I think I got AI on my Robinhood. Hasn't been making that much money, but sooner or later it's going to make me a profit. So there's some good and there's some bad in these things, but we have to be aware on the dangers it could present to the American people if we don't do something to control AI itself.
We're already seeing early signs of this transformation, with declining employment in AI, exposed occupations, and growing difficulty for young people entering the workforce. If machines can perform most economically valuable work better than humans, and that is the goal, that machines will be able to do the job you are doing better than you are doing. If that happens, simple question, what happens to the workers? How do people earn a living? How do they support their families? And how do programs like Social Security and Medicare survive without a stable tax base? People are not working, they're not paying taxes. And let me ask a very simple question that is on the minds of millions of Americans. How will workers who lose their jobs find new employment if there are no jobs available? What happens to the over 6 million truck drivers, cab drivers, rideshare drivers, and bus drivers if virtually all transportation is conducted through driverless vehicles, which under present terms seems likely to happen? What happens to the young college graduates who today going out looking for an entry-level job, but that job is not there? And let me say this, maybe from personal experience, I have seen this before, and the American working class has seen this process play out before. In the 1990s, the working class of this country was told by the corporate world, by the elites, by the corporate media, don't worry about unfettered free trade. My God, NAFTA, PNTR with China, it is going to create millions and millions of good-paying jobs. Man, Democrats, Republicans, corporate executives, everybody came together. Free trade, going to be the best thing that ever happened to American workers. Well, not quite. What happened, in fact, is that thousands and thousands of factories in this country were shut down. And what happened is that millions of workers lost their jobs. So we have seen this play out in the past.
Over and over again.
But when we talk about it, we're not just talking about the economy. AI is already reshaping how we as human beings relate to each other. According to a recent poll by Common Sense Media, 72% of American teenagers say they have used AI for companionship, and more than half do so regularly. What does it mean for young people to form friendships with AI and become more and more lonely and isolated from other human beings? Everybody understands we have a major mental health crisis for our young people right now. I fear that AI could make it even worse. And then when we talk about what's going on, we also have to talk about privacy.
I'll check it out.
Larry Ellison, second richest person on earth, who's gobbling up a lot of the media in this country,
YouTube,
who is a major investor in AI, predicts an AI-powered surveillance state is coming where, this is Larry Ellison, major investor, this is what he says, citizens will be on this behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that is going on, end quote. That's your phone calls, your texts, your emails, the websites that you visit, it will be recorded if we continue the current trends.
In other words, there goes your freedom. There goes your freedom, folks. Your freedom, your liberty, your privacy. Ain't nothing private no more. They know what you do. They know what you watch. They know what you know. They know where you're going. They probably know what time you wake up in the morning because you use it ever so often. talking about what we got here. Phones starts with those. Computers, laptops, PCs, video games, smart TVs. We all know this.
Further, AI is undermining American democracy. The rise of deep fakes, where you have very convincing fake images. It happened to me. I don't know if it happened to you. All right.
In service,
Where they had me selling some rebates or
we're
something like
going
that.
backwards.
Looked very good. Almost convinced me, but it wasn't me.
Well, let me say this again. If he comes up, if these people, and I don't trust Bernie to do much, but if he can come up with a plan to have the American people continue to work and not lose any sleep over this nonsense, and I'm not saying it's not because again, there's some good and there's some bad to AI. We just want to work. We just want to continue working, unless they're going to cut a big giant size check for us and we can just live happily ever after and let AI do all the work.
We're seeing fake videos, fake audios. What happens when a day before the election, somebody who looks like the candidate gets up and says something outrageous and people believe it?
I mean,
If people cannot trust what they see and hear, informed decision making becomes nearly impossible. It will become harder and harder to distinguish between truth and untruth.
Now let's hear what AOC has to say.
Together today to introduce this critical legislation. Within just a matter of short years, AI has become often forcibly integrated into many aspects of American existence, into our doctors' offices, our government, and oftentimes to the detriment of working people. Last year alone, AI was responsible for over 54,000 layoffs nationwide. And when we talk about those jobs, it's not just a number. These are industries, these are communities, these are families. You know, just a few short years ago, Sam Altman came before Congress. And in a direct plea, he begged us to regulate this industry. He said that these tools were under no circumstances ready, nor should they be integrated into weapons of war. That we must impose severe regulations immediately to prevent mass layoffs and to ensure that any productivity that comes of this industry can benefit working people. 3 short years later, none of that has happened, and in fact, in many cases, the opposite has happened. I'll start with another quote from Sam Altman, who said 10 years ago, "AI will probably lead to the end of the world. But in the meantime, there will be great companies created with serious machine learning." While I'm happy that Mr. Altman is responsible on his end of the deal, you know, he has his responsibilities on the company side. Our responsibility is to take care of people. And that is what we're here to do today. Unfortunately, the leaders of this industry have repeated time and time again that they view working people as an endless, untapped market to be manipulated and exploited.
Let me help her out. In other words, these people are unloyal, undisciplined. They don't come in on time. They just call in all the time. Blah, 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 blah. They complain rather than work. I mean, that's most companies. They always ask for vacation time. Well, we're going to build an AI program that eliminates all those things. You don't have to feed them. You compute them orders and they'll do just like that. We don't have to pay them. All we got to do is maintain them. That's all we have to do is maintain them and keep them working. Keep them oil, keep whatever the case may be. Yeah, we are in serious hot water here. Serious hot water. But again, it would be a beautiful thing if we can still control the very thing that's coming down the pipeline I would say in a couple of more years. But don't panic. Don't panic. People still going to be working. People still going to have jobs. It's just that you have to be prepared to, just in case these things do happen on a whim, depending on who's controlling these things. And hearing Bill Gates' name doesn't make it better. Hearing Elon Musk's name does not make the situation even better. But again, the American people will stand up just like they did before. I mean, just something wrong with these big governments, boy, when they just want to just tap into these movies. It's like, oh, we don't have to pay people. We don't have to hear them complain about this and about that. We don't have to give them vacation time. We don't even have to give up the 401k. And we can still be a rich people. Not black people, not brown people, the ones that don't matter. Us whites can be in control. All we got to do is bring the Asians in, have them do all the dirty work, and once they're done,
that they would sell our country out if it meant that they could turn a profit. And it is no surprise that in the 4 years since ChatGPT was released, we have seen AI deployed at a massive scale to create Big Brother-like surveillance. Every day, Americans are seeing videos of agents waving into crowds, threatening that if they use their First Amendment rights, U.S. citizens using their First Amendment rights, that they will be added to some vague database that the American people have not consented to nor are knowledgeable about. Companies like Palantir are mining endlessly the data and privacy of the American people, keeping track of everything that they say and do, and sending it all to a militarized and centralized government. When you take the subway, when you share a TikTok, when you talk to your Alexa at home, they are collecting your data and figuring out new ways to weaponize it. And now they are using AI tools to automate this so that it is not only pervasive, but that it is effortless. We must sound the alarm now. And because of this surveillance of the American people is not going to stop, we must stop it. All of this harm has occurred not in spite of, but because of the absence of federal legislation to regulate AI. This is not my first bill around AI.
How are you going to stop it? The only way you can stop this is not create. But then again, technology has been here for a very, very long time. It just hasn't magnified as much as it should. I mean, we got AI. How do you say it? I don't want to say the wrong thing and me get in trouble for it. But it's bad enough that we have AI corn, if you know what I mean. Did I say that right? I don't know why we sugarcoat this shit every day. My son is working for another building a 1,000-acre data center. Well, that'll be good for him because he knows cybersecurity, right? That's good for him. For others who don't have the experience and want to learn, we're talking about millions and millions of people, and I don't think data centers big enough to, you have to learn, you have to go to school for these things. You know what I mean? You got to go to school for these things. And you have to learn. So it's not for everybody. It's really not for everybody. But on the bright side, hey, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money in this. I don't know how much money they make. Maybe you can give me a hint of how much money cybersecurity makes.
And I can tell you that it is extremely discouraging to see how even the most minute efforts to protect people at some of the smallest and most basic level, like trying to prevent AI-generated child pornography, is still combated, oftentimes by many people here on the Hill and throughout industry. In this story, currently, the story is a story of corruption. It is fueled and funded by the same multi-billion-dollar corporations lobbying politicians to sit back and do nothing while they harm our communities. In fact, one of the largest explosions of super PAC and outside funding is by the AI industry. And for years, Congress has enabled this permission structure, a permission structure that allows billionaires like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel to be trusted to regulate themselves under the guise of, quote, American innovation. And what are they asking for now? Endless energy. These companies are now so desperate to profit off of the AI boom that they are racing to construct thousands of giant AI data centers and jacking up the utility costs of everyday Americans to pay for it. These data centers power thousands of high-intensity computer chips that are processing at all times and require massive amounts of energy to operate. Just one hyperscale data center consumes the same amount of energy in 1 second as 100,000 households. Because of the massive amount used, power and water companies must build multi-billion-dollar infrastructure to keep up with the demand. And these companies are not paying for their own energy infrastructure. People's energy bills around the country are skyrocketing in order to pay for these AI data centers for them.
They don't care.
In the last 5 years, Americans who live near data centers saw their electric bills increase over 267% each month.
I'm telling you right now, they don't care. They are building they are building these infrastructures to get rid of you. Because there are too many people, and I don't have enough space to ride my horsey. Here come Bill Gates. These people are filthy. These people are filthy. They're non-cooperative. They're non-programmed. So I'm going to give them something to program them. They're all trick bags. They are all in this. They are trying to reduce your numbers in a dramatic rate. They can't do it with regular old HIV. They can't do it with Ebola. They can't do it with West Nile. They can't do it with COVID. So now they got to go to a different route. Oh, did I not mention for all you video game lovers out there that your PlayStation? I'm hoping that you have a PlayStation 5. I hope you have a PS5, because if you don't have a PS5, you're going to be paying $100 more than what you're usually paying. It's bad enough that these damn controllers cost like an arm and a leg to get. I have 3. I did have 4, but I gave one up to my son. So I have 3. So right now, if you do not have a PS5, just a sidebar, you need to find one now. And I do mean right now. Find one for cheap too. Go to your pawn shops. I'm sure they have I'm sure they have PS5s at pawn shops. I'm telling you now. Whew.
We are talking about an $80 in a monthly increase from $80 a month to $294 a month. Working people are already living paycheck to paycheck in some states off of wages as low as $7.25 an hour.
You know what else? The reason why the companies are doing this is because they know that they're paying top dollar for people who are, let's say, had stayed at the company for 10 plus years. They're paying top dollar for their top people. Right now, the minimum wage is like, I say the average $8 to $10.75 an hour. But people are usually getting paid like housekeepers, bartenders, not security, because security don't get paid yet. People like in those ranges, they get paid like $27, $28 an hour, right? How do I know? I was a housekeeper. But it's not like, you go out to the field or whatever and you are, a carpenter or electrician. They all get paid. They all get paid decently. But I'm talking about these easy, more simpler jobs. You get paid 27, 28, $29 an hour, damn near 30 bucks an hour. And it was like, whoa, why are we paying these people? And these people are living, they think they're living lavishly. No, in an economy like this, you got to think, in an economy like this, where gas prices are high, rent is high, all that. Who lives in LA? I live in Nevada. Who lives in California? California's gas prices through the roof. And let not you have diesel fuel. Oh my God. Some say, well, why don't you get a cyber car? For what? Why would I spend $44,000 for a space car that it can stop anytime it wants to? If I end up in the wrong neutral zone or something like that, or when it gets real icy out and I can't charge my car. Like, people don't think about things like that. I know plenty of neighbors. My neighbors have space cars. I call them space cars. I just hate space cars and I hate cyber trucks. It's like, why are this ain't Knight Rider? Kid, why are you talking to me? But I have to, why are you speaking to me? Okay, suit yourself.
Another federal minimum wage that Congress also refuses to raise.
I told her to give me some water.
They simply cannot afford another increase to their monthly bills. And this results in people cutting corners whenever they can to keep the lights on, whether it's skipping meals or rationing their insulin. And while the American people are suffering, big tech continues to demand more. More data centers, more energy, more data collection, American jobs replaced by AI, all on the feet of the American people to pay. And across the country, Democrats, Republicans, and independents are standing up. People are standing up to big tech and saying no to these data centers being built in their own communities. More than 100 local communities across 12 states have already enacted local moratoriums on data centers. And Congress itself has a moral obligation to stand with them and stop big tech from ruining their communities. Our legislation in the House and the Senate would hit the brakes on construction of new data centers until we address several of the key areas of harm AI poses. Our bills learn from our lack of regulation following the similar rise regarding the internet and demands a new approach to AI, one that protects the American people from big tech's egregious overreach, one bound by our shared commitment over those who wish to patent it, one that centers prosperity for the many over exorbitant profits for the very few. Thank you.
Okay, fire away. By the way, we're just going to take questions. Yes, who are you? And
Brian Mess with Business Insider.
Be aware. Once again, they got the good things about AI, and there's the bad parts about AI. You just got to figure out, is this going to be good for me? Or is it like going to be like the Terminator or some shit where AI just completely takes over, that's not going to be the case at all. But then again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like, hit the share, subscribe button. Next, we're going to do just a little something on the UN. Oh, before I do that, I just want to wish Jasmine Crockett a happy birthday. I think I'm going to just go ahead and just find her a couple of videos. This should just play this because it's her birthday. Well, it was her birthday today. It was her birthday. And we wish our congressman. We want to wish our congressman a happy birthday. No, we don't need to do that. I wish I had seen some Marjorie Taylor Greene in here, but I don't. Let's see here. That was 3 weeks ago. I want to play something a little bit recent. Oh, screw it, whatever.
While taking into account the safety of those individuals.
Let me be clear.
There.
At any time.
Yes, I understand there's litigation in this area.
That's not my question. I'm not asking you litigation.
Yeah.
I'm asking you what the law is, because let me put it to you this
There's
way.
an appropriations rider that talks about
Correct,
oversight.
and appropriations are law, because you are asking us to
Correct.
appropriate dollars right now for DHS, correct?
Correct.
And if we do that, you would take that as law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that is what the law states, yet somehow, myself and another colleague, Congressman Castro, we ended up giving a 7-day notice to the Dilley detention facility because I had actually already gone to El Paso before. And when I went to that facility and I asked them why it was that they were requiring me to do something that specifically my branch of government had dictated was not required, they said it was because of you. They said you were the one that said that they were not allowed to allow us entry unless we gave a 7 days heads up. Is that true?
Yeah. The law specifically states oversight and visitations, and we are working to
My question
facilitate
is,
those. And we're at that
were
time
you,
working
did you
to
give the instruction that members must give a 7 days heads up or not?
We had a policy in place that allowed us to get.
Did
the
you,
staff
were you
there
the
to
one that ordered that
facilitate.
policy?
I have a responsibility for ensuring everybody in that
Okay.
facility is going to be safe, and that I have
Okay,
adequate
no, but that's not
staff
my question, because
to
the
conduct
problem,
a
let
tour
me
and
tell you why we
oversight
need
at the
to,
same time.
reclaiming my time. The reason that I'm talking to you about this policy and you're talking to me about safety is because I did go into the Dilley detention facility. And let me tell you, they're not safe. This is why we need to conduct oversight, because your people continue. In fact, you have lost more lives in detention than anybody else. That is your record right now. So I don't expect that y'all are going to be the ones that are going to be best to keep them safe. This is why we are supposed to conduct oversight and not wait for you to give permission. In fact, after I left the Dilley facility, we were informed of a measles outbreak that was taking place in that facility. And another question I have, are you the one that ordered it to be reopened because that facility was closed under Joe Biden?
Those facilities were opened with the new administration. I'd have to look
Okay,
and
you're
see
part
if
of the
that
new
was-
administration. Were you the one that ordered it to be open is my question.
I would have to see when it was opened because I wasn't sworn in until 5 days after.
Okay,
the
well, it
president
was
in
reopened in
office. So
March.
I would have to look at
It was reopened in March of last year.
Well, then I'm sure that contract would have been renewed while I was secretary.
Speaking of contracts, as I have, actually, you know what, let me continue on this line of y'all breaking the law. Are you familiar with a child by the name of Liam Ramos?
I am.
All right, so Liam was at this Dilley facility, and it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice, and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam. Are you aware of the court order that came down that released Liam from custody?
I am.
And are you aware that the judge said the case has its genesis in an ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children? This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them deported, but do so by proper legal procedures. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm
points
sure you would,
in
but can
there.
you tell me whether or not
That
you have a law degree?
Father chose to.
Can you
to
tell
have
me whether or
Liam
not you
be
have a
with
law
him.
degree?
If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have a law
Okay,
degree.
and you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately, that is the order of the court. That is what you follow, and if you have an issue, you appeal it up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The court went on to say, apparent also is the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over his nascent nation. Among others were, he has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. He has excited domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He has kept us among, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Are you aware that he wrote that? Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?
The judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will yield, but I do have 2 UCs. The first UC is ICE training was slashed, record show corroborating whistleblower claims from the Washington.
Without objection.
The second one is FEMA's response to Texas flood slowed by NOM's cost controls. This is out of CNN from July 10th of 2025.
Without.
That was dedicated to her. Shouts out to Jasmine Crockett. Have a happy birthday. Have a happy birthday. She is now 45 years of age. All right. Next one up, and probably going to be the last one for the night. Normally I wouldn't get into it because it's a real big fight between, I was yelling about it today. All this infighting that's going on between Black people and immigrants, it's almost a bit too much for me. But when I read into the whole Ghana situation, how Ghana on adoption of resolution on trafficking of enslavement of the African people, I think my attentions had to go to what they were talking about here. And most of the people here are proclaiming that that they want reparations, or they're getting reparations. Let's see.
Structure and enduring consequences
demand recognition at the highest level of our shared global conscience so that we can move forward in healing and in preventing such a crime from ever happening again. This resolution is not about apportioning blame across generations or nations. It is not about reopening old wounds. It is about ensuring that those wounds are neither forgotten nor denied. It is about creating space for truth, for education, and for a more honest global conversation that allows us to move forward together with greater understanding. History, as we know, is rarely simple. It is layered, it is complex, and at times uncomfortable. This resolution does not deny that complexity. It does not ignore the many dimensions of historical experience. Rather, it recognizes that even within complexity, there are moments in history that stand apart, moments defined by their scale, their systemization, and their impact on humanity. To acknowledge this is not to diminish any other history. It is to deepen our collective moral awareness. What we have achieved today helps all of us in our renewed commitment to remembrance so that future generations inherit truth, not silence, to education so that history is taught with honesty and integrity, to dialogue so that differences in perspective become opportunities for understanding, and to cooperation so that we address the enduring legacies of history in ways that unite rather than divide. The resolution also opens the door for continued global engagement on reparatory justice, not as a narrow or transactional concept, but as a broader framework for healing, restoration, and partnership. It also calls for further actions within our respective states. We therefore urge every member state to consider carefully the actions it must take to ensure inclusive and good faith dialogue on reparatory justice. The work of justice does not end with remembrance. The racialized systems that adversely shaped our world must yield to a system that does not distinguish between our common humanity, and which seeks for the interests of all peoples in a fair, just, and equitable manner. Let me conclude with this reflection. We cannot change history, but we can change how we remember it. And in doing so, we can change what we carry forward. Today, the world has chosen to remember with purpose, justice, and equity. Let that purpose guide us toward a future that is more just, more inclusive, and more profoundly human. I would like to thank our negotiating team, staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the staff of our mission in New York, in Geneva, and in Addis Ababa. And I would like to thank especially our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for his vision, his dynamism, his effectiveness, which the UN Secretary General acknowledged today in their bilateral engagement, and for his humanity. His guidance has been absolutely phenomenal in bringing us to this historic moment. Ghana, Africa, and all people of African descent, and indeed all people of the world with good conscience, will eternally be grateful to President Mahama for his leadership at this defining hour in global history. I thank you very much for your indulgence, and I shall now take your questions.
So my understanding is they had talks with the UN, United Nations. Um, Basically, the talks about the slave trade and reparations talk, which I don't think they're going to, like I said again, I don't think they're getting reparations. This is what is being told. But we'll give some reactions to it. Some reactions is like I don't really like all the negativity. I really don't. I mean, better late than never, right? Better late than fucking ever. But I digress. let me go into some reactions to, and I would like to know your reactions as well. If you have seen it, if you have not seen it, um, it was pretty educational, to be honest, and it's good to know. It's good to know your history. It's good to know your history. It's good to know where you come from. Where did it go? Where is it? Where is it? No, no, that wouldn't it. Let me push that up. Where was that lady that was complaining today? Give me 1 second. Where was that one lady that was complaining? Let's see. Let's see. Probably. Oh, okay. It's getting closer. Nope, that's not it. I do not want to hear from information, man. Not now. Not now. I do not want to hear from information, man. I do not want to hear from anybody from the Umar sector. So, nope, that's not it. Hell, if it comes down to it, I might have. Nope, nope. There it is. Cargo.
And the nerve, don't they have Gory Castle right there in Ghana? And they have been given tours year in and year out through that slave dungeon every single year. And so, right there, they've already made probably millions upon millions of dollars of people touring through there every single year. So,
Nothing.
they've been making profit for a very long time off of slavery. You know, that is one thing I never wanted to do, y'all. I don't want to go through no slave dungeon. I wouldn't even care if there was one here in the US. I still wouldn't go through it. I don't want to go through anything like that. I hear some people say, oh, I want to go. I don't. I don't want to go. I don't want to be in a slave dungeon. I don't want to be there. But there are some people that see it as history and they want to go. But I have to tell y'all, even at a young age, when I heard about it, and I would see like, clips of people going through there and crying and everything. And I was like, why would I want to be there? I just, maybe it's me, but I never had no desire to go to a dungeon. That is just not in me to go. But those of you that do, I'm not knocking it. You do what you want to do, but it's just not for me. I don't believe Ghana is entitled to anything or any African nation over there. I know they went through colonialism on their own land, and they were really enslaved on their own land through colonialism. But they need to take up that fight with Europe because it was people from those European nations that went to Africa and did that. But as far as them fighting and believe they deserve reparations and mentioning the transatlantic slave trade, which they took part in selling people, no, I don't believe they should get one dime for that. In fact, if the UN was smart, they need to study Ghana's history. Ghana got a horrible history when it comes down to selling slaves. It was not Ghana back then, but that region, that West Coast, they got a horrible history in selling slaves for stupid stuff. Selling you for a bottle of whiskey and all that stuff. I mean,
That's bullshit. Never sold you for a bottle of whiskey. Never sold you for papers. There were different tribes back then, and it wasn't just Ghana. It was a plethora of countries. And like you say, 32. I don't want overlap it. 32 tribes. 32 tribes, and apparently you have conquerors who got conquered. That's just how the shit goes. It's no different from over here. You working on the one world government. Over here we have governments. We have governments and only one president. They have ambassadors, right? But I have to admit, it is a shame to hear. It is a shame to hear that our brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa and the history and how it was formalized and how they sold, how they sold sold different tribes into slavery. If you would, there's a movie out. We all know, when it came to the Woman King, when it came to the homie and, that type of tribe, and you just got to study things like this. But it's good that the representations of Ghana actually did stuff like this, because in a form of an apology was is way overdue. The two country, or the two states, the two national conglomerates that I know that did not apologize were the United States and, of course, Israel. And Israel has their nose stuck up in all of this drama. And that's what I think that we need to focus on, is them trick bags in Israel. That's just me.
look, y'all, the bottom line is
What's your opinion?
I'm not for Ghana being our spokesperson when we are more than capable of speaking for ourselves. We don't need anybody on that African continent speaking up for us when it comes down to slavery. For some reason, they seem to be trying to
Ma'am, slavery started in Africa. What are we talking about?
leverage onto slavery and use it when it comes down to concerns of getting money. And African nations, all of you, stop speaking on our behalf. We are more than aware of our history. We know who the slaves were in our own families. We know what happened on this land.
There were
We don't
many.
need a living soul from any African nation or African Union speaking on our behalf. Why would we want that from any of you?
Someone's angry. What Arab nation apologized? What Arab nation apologized? Did it say anything about Arab nations? Or you wrote it a different way?
Why? And not to mention the
Not to my
whole
knowledge.
time we went through that hell during slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, mass incarceration. Hell, y'all didn't even come through for us during the crack epidemic. We didn't hear from one African nation when those drugs were planted in neighborhoods all across this country.
Now that's going a little too far. The crack epidemic. Well, this was in like the early 90s. So it was just Africans came through. The Africans were supposed to come through actually it started in the 70s. It actually started in the 70s, but clearly it didn't start going worldwide and it didn't stop getting popularized like big until the 90s when one movie came out, not Bad Boy, Boys in the Hood came out. I have no idea. I have no clue, bro. The crack epidemic, I guess.
Where our people resided. We didn't hear from one African nation, none of you. So if you're not going to be there for the bad, don't be there when it's time to collect money. Please leave our affairs alone.
Well, again, I don't know if they're collecting money or not. As a matter of fact, I did hear someone say it's not about collecting. We don't collect upon our our suffering. I don't. At least I don't know. They didn't come up with a number, which people here in the United States, they're punch drunk when it comes to reparations. They are literally punch drunk. She is that bug. Is that the bug-eyed lady? No. This is a totally different person.
You have no business trying to get in the middle of what we got going. Whether we get reparations from this nation or not, we don't need a single African involved either way.
I think the hatred for African people is so surreal that we are just blinding ourselves from the real oppressor. And the oppressor is the one that said we're not apologizing for slavery because everything was perfectly legal then. They're not apologizing. But then again, you're not focusing on that. You're just focusing on mainly yourselves, if that makes sense. You have people who look like you, whether it's fair skin like me, or dark skin, or people who light skin who speak a different language, who speak an African language, or speak Creole, or speak Igbo. It's quite, I don't know what to do. It's all over the place. Okay, sweets. Okay, sweet. Slavery happened way long time ago. Slaves happened a long time ago. Then why are you asking everyone that's alive now for an apology? I don't know why. Again, like I told you before, it's like better late than never, I guess. It just happened to talk with the UN about something. I didn't to be perfectly honest, I didn't come across this until somebody started complaining and said that Africa's getting reparations. I said, no, they're not. As a matter of fact, they are reparations. They are the richest. They are the richest continent in global history. Why do you think they're old? Why do you think they got whites over there colonizing still to this day? We are the reparations, but then again, people swearing that they're getting reparations. Your reparations was the 400K man that died in the Civil War. Okay. But you are assuming that I have negative feelings towards a black person. You had negative feelings towards a black person, and I was married to one 9 years. I love black people. I have no reason to not like that people. Why? So why are you asking? What? Let me ask, are you talking to me or are you talking to somebody else in the chat? Okay, you were in you're probably talking to somebody else. You were enslaved. The majority of Americans did not own any slaves. Uh, are we talking 1900s? Are we talking 1800s? Are we talking 1700s? Which one are we talking about? I personally love me some chocolate. Oh, good for you.
Okay. Even what we're going through now, fighting this government for our reparations. How many countries from Africa backed us up and said, yes, you need to give them reparations, US government? None.
That's because they weren't talking to you. You weren't even on their radar. Why does every black person have to be involved in other people's stuff? I don't get it. I was like, we need to discuss a lot of things, and we didn't need to discuss it. Why y'all talking about black Americans? What are you doing? What are we doing here? Africa needs to give you your reparations. No, they don't. No, they don't, because I live in reality. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it because, number one, you don't even know who you are. You don't even know your identity. I mean, you're suffering you are suffering, quite frankly, from an identity crisis. You really are. I mean, you got FBA, Adolfs, Israelites, Pan-Africans, Dafa, Fifi, Fufu, all coming up. I mean, you're just separating yourselves. And you know what happens when you separate yourselves? You can't get anything done. You cannot be tribal unless you get something accomplished. What have we accomplished in over 50 years? What have we accomplished? Have we opened up one black school, one supermarket? Once upon a time, we had radio stations, thousands of radio stations. Once upon a time, we owned hotels, casinos. No longer. The person that owned the Buell sauce, the barbecue sauce, no longer in effect. Owned by white folks. BET, owned by a black man, now owned by Viacom. I'm native, so go find yourself. I know who I'm. Obviously not if you can't spell. Obviously not. And you have to finish the sentence. I'm native. Native to who? Native to what? What are you native? I mean, do what you do. Do what you do. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, whatever. Until y'all start building with your hands and stop using this so much, I'm dead. I'm good. What is the deal with Phil? Who's Phil? The guy from Houston. Oh, you talking about the African diaspora guy who really ain't African diaspora? You talking about that guy? Oh God, I don't want to talk about Phil right now.
None. We couldn't name a single country. You don't even step up to the plate for us now. No, no, we are fine. In fact, y'all come here to get your education. So common sense should tell you we don't need y'all. Speak.
Ooh, they get their education from Ghana as well. If you want to go over to the States, however, and you want like one of those big time jobs, you're gonna need to be educated. Duh. So you belong to the French. So why are we so it sounds like okay, you're French, that means you're white. It sounds like to me that you're saying that you're white. I did not hear anything African come out of that. French, Indian, Native American, Canadian. I didn't hear anything African come out of that. Nothing. So, and if that's so, we're not talking to you.
For us on any level at this point. 400 years later, you're a day late and a buck short.
Damn.
When you could have said something all along.
Oh, stop.
And you didn't.
Oh,
you didn't give our people a way out.
Oh,
You didn't try to throw us.
Oh, stop. They gave you a way out when they made the boats to send you back to Africa a long time ago, but your black asses stayed here. You wanted to stay here. There was a boat in the early there was a program in the early 90s way back to Africa, and your Negroes want to stay here. Do you think it is a positive thing for Black people to separate themselves by blacks only TV stations or blacks only owned businesses? Let me read that again. Do you think it's a positive thing for Black people to separate themselves by black only TV stations, black owned businesses? It seems like they don't want to be a part of, they want to be alone. I don't know what the fuck they want. Number one, it was about reparations in the first place. Then they talk about tethers all day. They want to attack. They want to be on the offensive. Why don't you be on the offense on these white people who literally call you out by your name and laugh at you each and every single time you get into an altercation with these people? Stick to one thing. ADOS, I have a bit more respect for ADOS than I do FBA. Let me tell you why. Yvette Carnell usually runs her mouth a little bit too much, but at least she knows how to conduct business. I will give her that. Her and Tone Talks both. At least they know how to conduct business. FBA, you got to fight with them every single day. Even though no one has ever mentioned their names. No one's ever called on it. The only time they ever mention their names is because they mention their own names. Like, they talk about us. Are we talking about them? It's always something with these people. And yet they're missing the big picture. We're delineating from all these tethers. You're calling yourself a tether. You do realize tether means stolen, right? So this is why DAFA is more, I'll just stick to Pan-African for right now. This is the reason why Pan-African, in my opinion, even though it's the oldest ideology in history, it works for those who are sane. Because we don't call you out by name. We literally work for those people who are African American, French American, who proclaim their Africanity. Anyone from the African diaspora, anybody from Jamaica, anybody from Haiti, they can get this work. It's like, what are you willing to do? Oh, we're willing to build ships and sail throughout the Eastern Cargo Sea, or sell out west with, it's like, okay, you willing to do that? What are you willing to do? We're willing to buy products and tariffs, whatever you call them, tariffs for cargo and all this other shit for a cheap price. Okay, cool. What are you willing to do? Well, we're willing to work with you with food supplies. We're willing to build you like a city center or some shit like that for people to come in and buy our products once you ship that shit over to the Americans or something like that, or you ship that shit overseas somewhere. Okay, cool. We know how to produce. Instead of doing all this talking back and forth, we know how to produce shit. But apparently, there's always some hating ass nigga to come along and fuck everything up. This is the reason, the position that we're in.
Any kind of
And now all of a sudden, we're owed reparations.
life raft. Look, we'll do this, we'll do that. Come over to this nation. We'll help you. We'll get you out of this sick, that sick system that you're in. You didn't do nothing. When our people were getting lynched, you didn't so much as drop a letter.
What? What? What the fuck? Wait a minute. You do realize you were immigrants coming over here, right? You were the African slaves who came over to the Americas. And how you came here was not funny. It was not funny at all. But what I'm tripping on is you keep coming up with all this extra shit. Who is we in your scenario? Here you go, Barb. Who is we? If you don't believe that you have any type of African, if you're not an African descendant of, brothers and sisters from Africa or anywhere else that we were spread out across the country, then, hun, I don't know what to tell you. I am who I am for a reason. I am who I am. I study these things on a whim, and I'm getting better at it. What do you think about you coming up with all these names? I don't know. What about them? You coming up with all these crazy names. none of them I never heard before. Like the white boy from yesterday. I didn't know who the hell he was. Oh, that guy. I don't read too much. I don't read too much into Qual. I don't read too much into Qual. Not too much. Not too much. Not too much.
Didn't do nothing. So that being said, there is zero you can do for us now.
Us.
You know,
Who's us?
I feel deeply offended that you are trying to use us to pad your pockets. It's deeply offensive.
That makes no sense.
So, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Yeah, that's money. You damn right.
No,
Facts only. You ain't never spoke a lie. They owe us. If anything, you should have been up at the UN asking what is the best way we can send money over to America for slavery, for the communities that were enslaved. If anything, that's what you should have been up there for. Thank you, Tracy Jones, for the super sticker. All right, and your support for my channel. Let me share my screen.
Who fought so hard for freedom. When they knew nowhere to go, they fought for freedom. They protest, they spoke, they sang songs of freedom. Many days they were nowhere given unto them. How dare you go to the UN to go and ask for reparation? Are you a Black American? Are you a Black American? Only Black American have the rights to go to the UN and make the case to be compensated. Now no African president have the rights because you were involved in studying slavery. And this is some of the reasons why some of the Black Americans no longer want to align with us. These are some of the reasons. Because what you're doing right now, Ghana, is you are only telling the world that you be embracing African American to come closer to you so you can use them as an advantage to benefit yourself. In fact, if there is any country in Africa that's supposed to talk about reparation for slavery, it should be Liberia, because Liberia was established by free slaves from the US. Who are you, Ghana, to go and stand in the UN and try to ask for?
But then again, what you're not realizing is that Black Americans hate Liberians. Oops. I was told today, Liberians don't love us. We are so confused. So confused. This is why diaspora is needed, or DAFA is needed. This is the reason why DAFA is needed. We can start our own coup, start over, start fresh. We don't need none of this negativity from wannabes like that. We don't need none of this negativity from wannabes like Lisa. We don't need none of these negativities from wannabes like from Tariq or anybody else. We can just start over ourselves and come up right and start building up from the mud. Because Lord knows you ain't gonna get no reparations. Not from the US. You think Trump is gonna sign that paper? Do you obviously think Trump is going to sign that paper? No, the hell he is not. Labor sucks. All they do is labor sucks. All we do is divide. But guess what? You laboring, meaning you build up your own establishments, it's yours. What you pay for, especially the land, it is yours. It's yours. Now, the only thing that sucks is you're gonna have, I don't know if you did to pay the taxes. You're gonna have to pay taxes on the land. But other than that, it's yours. They can't take nothing away from you unless you want it to be taken. But you know that little white man in that briefcase usually comes around with money with a briefcase full of money, say, I will buy your establishment for this amount of money. And 90% of you Negroes say, what? Yes.
Reparation. Explain to me. You were involved in selling people. Your ancestors sold your children, sold other Africans into slavery. The records are there. You're supposed to be compensating. You're supposed to be compensating African American instead of going to stand in the UN and trying to ask for reparation.
They can do whatever they can.
And I'm glad that the US did not support it. And I'm glad that Israel did not support it. I'm glad. You don't deserve, no African leader have any right whatsoever to ask for reparation.
Cool.
These people went through a lot.
Cool.
I may have my own personal disagreement with individuals. But when you look at the history of the Black American, not only in America, if you look at the history of the Blacks in France, in Germany, in Europe, in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy, you look at the history, those in Jamaica, other places, they have the right to stand up and demand for reparation. No African leader has that right. And I honestly believe you have disrespected the ancestor of the African American. But most of the African American will not see it from that way. They won't.
Does this woman know that the people over there here in the United States were once, a long time ago, were once the Africans that were stolen here in the rich land called Africa? Does she know that? I don't think she knows that. She just didn't run in her mouth. And like all assholes have opinions. So we'll move on.
A president here in the U.S. for reparations is inept and false. Ghana gained its independence from British colonial powers on March 6, 1957. They cannot at all confirm that anybody of the small remnant of slaves that were brought from Africa to America belonged to their people. They are doing this because these are greedy, hungry siphoners who want to take from the Black American community, and they think we're going to sit by idly and allow it to happen. Absolutely not. There is no plausible way for any African country to assert that our people came from them, because they were separated by tribalism before colonialism. So they don't know whose tribe these people came from. And these individuals are well aware of it. And they believe themselves that we can't receive anything without their help. We don't want your help, and we didn't ask for it. Stop playing yourself.
No one called you. No one called you. This is what I'm talking about. Niggas getting up in arms or something that they're not going to be getting. What the fuck? This is Ghana did this. Ghana called this meeting. Not Black people. Ghana did that.
So this
Where is it fucking do you think your group will divide the rest of the Black Americans who don't want to include Africans as a part of their lineage? Don't know and don't give a fuck. Sorry, I don't care. The people who want to roll with us will roll with us. The people who want nothing, the people who want peace and tranquility will roll with us eventually, because they're getting tired of this shit too. All right, man, you take it easy. Thanks for coming up and seeing the brother. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Have a good night. But no, I really don't care. It's people, I'm just getting sick of the infighting. And whatever they do, I'll give them a lot of steak. or whatever they do over there, and all they do is fight all day and no plan, no strategies, no nothing. No nothing. All is just tether all day long. And it's all because of one individual who won't stop oppressing himself, meaning he won't stop pressing us and separating us, all because he has his own fucking agenda. He doesn't give a fuck. He does not care about black people. He don't care. All he does is make movies and getting rich off of black people. That's all he's doing. He ain't developing anything. Nothing. So until you hold him accountable, don't hold nobody else accountable. I don't even want to hear it.
This guy decided to tag me in a post. I'm gonna go ahead and tag him here. But sir, y'all are way behind us. What year is this? This is 2026. Wookie butt. Okay. Black Americans have been to the United Nations in the 1990s. And we've been to the United Nations in 2016. And we've been to the United Nations in 2020 and 2021. Okay. Like I said, y'all behind. Y'all are way fucking behind us. It is.
And how did it work out for you, sis? How did it clearly work out for you? One half of 1% of wealth. No infrastructure, no schools, no businesses. A few little millionaires here and a few little millionaires there. But are they going to help? Are they going to help build Black America? No. All your LeBrons, all your Michael Jordans, all your Shaquille O'Neals. The only thing Shaquille O'Neal has ever done for you is put stuff on the market at Walmart. Stop it. Denzel's, what are you going to do? Those are entertainers. Entertainers and millionaires. But the thing about it is, you have a choice. You either be an activist or you become an actor or a football, what's it called? You become like a famous entertainer. You become an entertainer. If you're an activist, you have one job. If you're an entertainer, you have one job. You can't do both. Somebody already tried it and failed.
It's 2026 now. So let me show you the resolutions of what happened. This is why we keep saying this stuff is redundant, because y'all late. We know y'all new to society and new to the world and shit. But let me go ahead and show you the ground we've already covered. This is in 2016. UN group says U.S. owes reparations to African Americans. Okay. The United States owes African Americans reparations for its history of racial terrorism, according to a new report from a United Nations.
Did you get it? No.
Working group based in Geneva. And now here is the working report. Okay. And the reason why I'm harping on this and showing this to you is because we don't need a resolution. We need you to enforce the shit we already had. But the reason why Ghana got involved and the AU got involved is because y'all don't want to enforce what we already had. Y'all wanted to create a new thing so that Ghana and the AU could divert reparations away from us and towards African countries.
Who is us?
Like, let's tell the truth. But anywho, report of the working group of experts on people of African descent on its mission to the United States of America. As you can see, the date there at the top is August 14th. 2016.
How'd that work out for you?
It says recommendations. The working group reiterates the recommendation that it made after its visit to the United States of America in 2010 to establish a National Human Rights Commission in accordance with the principles relating to the states of national institutions for the promotion and protection of human rights, Paris Principles. The government should establish within this body a specific division to monitor the human rights of African Americans. In addition to the above, the working group urges the government of the United States of America to consider the ratification of the core international human rights treaties in which the United States is still not a party, with a view to removing any gaps in the protection and full enjoyment of rights therein. It also encourages the United States to ratify regional human rights treaties and to review the reservations related to the treaties that it has signed or ratified. There's a treaty that they signed that I got to show y'all where, again, in that treaty, they also were told to give Black Americans. I'm going to have to do a part though to show y'all where it's happened at. Federal and state laws should be adopted that incorporate the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and other international human rights treaties, as well as regional treaties. To this end, an interagency body should be created, composed of high-level officials from the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary at both the federal and state levels. So that's in our entire government, who will take steps to give effect to the decisions, resolutions, views, observations, and recommendations of United Nations human rights bodies, such as the Human Rights Council, the treaty bodies, and special procedures, and of regional human rights bodies. There is a profound need to acknowledge that the transatlantic trade and Africans, enslavement, colonization, and colonialism were a crime against humanity and are among the major sources and manifestations of racism, racial discrimination, Afrophobia, xenophobia, and related intolerance. Past injustices and crimes against African Americans need to be addressed with reparatory justice. Monuments, memorials, and markers impact of enslavement. Black community leaders from Louisiana who addressed committee earlier this month have...
Okay, August 30th, 2022. How'd that work out for you?
Hail recommendations. This was August 30th. For the first was February 14, 2025.
February 14, 2025. How did that work out for you?
We also were in the UN about a conversation about reparations. So again,
return to Africa thing. And President Mahama
of Africans and the subsequent harms inflicted upon people of African descent. And this was February 14, 2025. We also were in the UN about a conversation about reparations. So again, like I said, what's really going on is that y'all are over there on that fucking continent trying to usurp shit that we have already had in motion for literally 20 years now.
How did it work out for you?
Let's talk about tethered Ghanaian President Mahama coming to the United Nations, trying to speak on the behalf of Black Americans, Indigenous American Indians in the United States of America, trying to steal our reparations. Now listen, short and
steal y'all reparations. You know how much money they've given to people who aren't like you? They've given it to the American Indians. They've given it to Japan. They've given it to, I'm assuming, China. They even give it to the gays. What are we talking about? Your reparations? You have an identity crisis, my dude. What do you mean when you say, how did it work out for you? What I mean is, if you've been asking or complaining about not getting reparations, and you've been doing any and everything that you can, which I don't think you have, but I digress. Needless to say, if you have been complaining to the UN about reparations, whether it be a form of a check or land, was there a follow-up? Not exactly, because you would have gone through hell and high water. But apparently, people who own and control this country don't want you to have things like this. And then one of the reasons why I say you're not going to get it is because you are not willing to put aside your fucking differences for 1 minute and just say, you know what, screw it. We're going to unite with one another to see that Israel gets their just due. Because they're the ones that are owning and controlling the United States of America. You heard it here.
He failed, and I'm going to tell you why he failed, okay? Listen, it's not going to work out the way they believe it's going to work out. All that happened was the world recognized the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. Okay. Now, what they're not telling you is that reparations is by lineage. Recently in the past, this whole return to Africa thing, and a lot of people around the world who are supposedly African descent was going to Africa and getting citizenship based off an ethnicity DNA test. There are a lot of loopholes that's going on in Africa, a lot of criminal activity. First of all, an ethnicity DNA test is not an official way to prove your lineage. You only do that with a kinship test in genealogy. Any biologist, scientist will tell you that, okay? So anyhow, they're trying to get people to go to Africa and get citizenship based on an ethnicity DNA test. That's unlawful. That could never happen in the United States of America. Reparations is claimed by lineage. You have to prove you specifically endured slavery, your ancestors, right? And there's
In other words, the people who are in this land, their ancestry from 1800 back all the way to the 1700s, you came from Africa, doofus. People here just should not get reparations. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Y'all don't deserve no reparations. The next generation may deserve reparations, but y'all don't. You just don't. Because all you're gonna do is fuck up the money. That's all you're gonna do. All you're gonna do is just straight fuck up the money. Nothing's gonna get built, nothing's gonna be repaired. Simple as that. Oh, Lisa's up. Lisa is up. I think I woke up Lisa. I'm supposed to be getting ready for work, but I saw why going. Who should we unite with? Unite with the people. Sorry to say, if you don't want to unite with the people from Africa, you don't want to unite with the people from Uganda, or let's just say people from the Congo, or people from Jamaica, or people from Haiti. If you read the brochure 1804, what the Haitian Revolution, what it did to the American people, to the not the American people, to the European people, Napoleon, he fucked them up. And they're a small little country. They literally fucked them up. Three countries coming in there, and they all got fucked up by one little small country. Can you imagine the amount of damage we can do as Black Americans, African Americans, Jamaicans, even Black British people from the diaspora, people from all over the world who look like us. Do you know how much damage we could do? But too much like right. We feel like we don't need to unite with anyone. Don't. The more of you argue, the less of you are going to be. Learn your lesson. The less of you, the more you delineate, the less of you are. You don't have what it takes to go up against an entity that can literally shut the lights off of you. You don't have it. You don't. You clearly don't.
different forms of reparations. But if you're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, you can't prove it by an ethnicity DNA test. I'm sorry, because that's fake. You have to prove it by lineage. Now, this president, this tethered president, must think that Black Americans are dumb. A lot of the powers that be believes that Black Americans are dumb. We did not give you consent to talk on our behalf. You think we don't know how reparations work? By the way, I'm Ken Ottaway, the fifth great grandson of Nat Turner, one of the greatest American freedom fighters of all time. On my channel, we talk about journalism, psychology, communication, media, and public relations. Oftentimes, through these channels, through these mediums, our narratives are being changed, but we're correcting the action. These are also my areas of expertise that I went to college for. Now, my mother in the past have done many things when it comes to reparations. So I'm not going to allow these Africans and these tethers and these people around the world who are not Black American, American Indian. I'm not going to allow any Black Americans or the African Americans in power to play this game like we don't know how reparations work. You have to prove your lineage. Africans sold Africans into slavery. So the very thing that this Ghanaian tether president is crying about, he should be addressing the other African leaders that sold other Africans into slavery. Africa was never united. That's why you sold people that look like you into slavery.
Again, do you know he doesn't know about the many tribes that are out there in Africa? You have 32 different tribes that didn't like each other, tribes that were fighting in and out of time, in and out of time. Some were united with each other, some were enslaving one another for some bread and some crumb bags or whatever the hell. But how did this I can't even put the words out. Can't even put the fucking words out. What did you tell me? You have broken your word to me. What word? How much research and time in what you claim, what you did? What are we talking about here? I have no idea what we're talking about. We spend too much time trying to debate with people. We all know basic history. People need to focus on how they are going to survive in this war. Tell them that. I'm done speaking to people who don't have. I just had an argument this morning, actually this afternoon, over some dumb shit. I just had an argument, and apparently the Black people are starting to. They're operating back here, not so much here, not so much thinking with a brain, but operating back here. I can't deal with that. I want to deal with people who are lined up, hook, line, and sinker, and trying to get these come ups up. If we don't want to get these come ups up, I'm not talking to you. If you don't want to align yourself and align yourself and trying to build Black America, as Dr. Claude Anderson interpreted, then I'm not speaking to you. I don't want to speak to anybody who don't have the same mindset as a Dr. Claude Anderson, as a Booker T. Washington. I don't want to speak to those people. As a Professor Griff, as a Dr. John Henry Clark, as a Dr. Ben, if you don't have the same mindset of these people, then I'm not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you. All you want to do is smoke weed all the time. I'm not speaking to those people no more. We've gone through too fucking much. Gone through too much time. Too much time has been wasted on Negroes who can't comprehend, who just want to do infighting all the time and want to steal a logo from a different person and call it FBA. How did I never remind you that ADOS was the first person, was the first cult that even came out with the shit and was applying for reparations? They were the first ones. I don't even know where these niggas come from. I do not know where these motherfuckers come from. Who are you? I look at you, who are you? Because all you want is money. Let's just keep it real. All you niggas want is money. It doesn't work like that. Your representative is far, far away. And guess what? You're not going to get it. And even if they sign off for it and put it on Trump's desk, is Trump going to sign off on that? Think about it. Are you going to force Trump to sign for your reparations? Really? This is the shit I'm talking about. I came from an Adrian Empire, first into the first African Navy to defeat the Portuguese. Well, salute to you. Salute. Salute to J Blue. Salute. Have you found out what your options ran on? What are you running? What are you talking about? What should blacks ask for other than money? I wouldn't, to be perfectly honest with you, Barb, I wouldn't ask for money. Give me the land that I deserve. Give a land to me that is deserved to me. In that way, if we have the land, we can build upon the land we have bought. That makes money. You're thinking short term. I'm thinking long term. But niggas always want to think about a check. Trump can't be leveraged like anyone else. Okay, so what's in it for him? What would be in it for Trump? Do we not realize who we talking about here? Barb, you know as well as anyone who Trump is. Come on, you know who Trump is. He ain't gonna give you shit. Whatever happened to that platinum plan that they were talking about? What happened to that platinum plan? You claim you were going to be running for council. I haven't gotten there yet, but I will eventually. Free healthcare and free college and free universal. Ooh, now there's a plan, ladies and gentlemen. There is a plan right there. And who has free healthcare? Canada, Cuba. I heard Mexico got a free healthcare plan. I heard Mexico got a free healthcare plan. Why do you think Trump wants those countries so much? It's not just because of health. People need to buy their own land like many black people do and stop talking. What you get? Lisa, tell them that. Again, nigga just want money. Like, in the money depreciate. Oh, did I not forget to tell you that there are 6 countries who are doing away with paper? They're doing away with paper. And the only thing that they're going back to the ways of old. Before old Tricky Dick turned your gold, your silver, and your platinum, your gold, your silver, and your bronze into paper, which is depreciating in value each and every single day. Have you not seen what's outside these doors? How gas prices are going up, how food's going, you know the lingo, you know what's going on.
For those of you who say that you're African descent, and not all Black Americans came from Africa. So that's another thing that's going to be a huge issue speaking on our behalf, and it's not going to work. You understand what I'm saying? Now I want you to take a look at this right here, and I'm going to break down what's going on, what has happened, and what is not happening. And later on in another video, we're going to further discuss reparations, what it is and what it is not, who is entitled and who is not entitled, who can speak for Black Americans, Indigenous American Indians, and who cannot speak for Black Americans, Indigenous American
Indians. How did American Indians get into this? They have their reparations through the hotels that they get. How the fuck did Indians? This is a fucking idiot. This is an idiot.
You win. If y'all don't sit y'all goofy asses down, you literally look like what we've been saying for the longest, that you guys are scammers. And on top of that,
Black Americans have no leadership, no nothing. At least the people in Africa have leaders or leadership. I am so sick and tired of this division. Oops, I was about to kick myself off. I was about to kick my own self off. I'm gonna show you good people something. Come on, Loc. You can talk to your blue in the face. What? You are not serious, and wait. I am not serious about what? Lisa, I promise you. I'm gonna get where I need to be. And even if I get there, ain't no guarantee that I'm gonna be picked. There ain't no guarantee. And they already have their people for right now. So I'm gonna have to wait until next year. But bless you. Listen to what I'm saying. And to all the people who I'm streaming in two different areas. I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm streaming on YouTube. Trust me, I'm gonna get there. And when I get there, trying out for city council, that's a priority. That's a priority. I gotta know my ins and outs. I gotta know what I'm getting into. Hell, I just gotta. What do I do with my paper? Oh, it's downstairs. I just bought a paper. At the store. I was just at the store. I bought a paper. I'm gonna read into it. I'm reading to everyday life in the inner cities of Las Vegas, Nevada. Trust me. Once I do that, once I get into it, you ain't gonna see me as much on here. You're not gonna see me. I'm just letting you know. That's not the point. You should use this time to prepare. You will not if you keep on this. You have said this for years. No, I said this for a couple of months. Actually, it's been a month and a half. I would say a month and a half. I don't know how you came up with a year, but so Black should be giving a multi-facet reparations. I don't know what a multi-facet reparations is. Black should receive land, money, stock inventions, free education, tax relief, living mattress. There's a package. If you can negotiate all that and they can give it to you, cool. But I don't think they're going to give that to you. They're simply not going to give you anything. They might give you a stimulus check, but where's the stimulus? I'm still waiting on my stimulus check. you have been talking about Africa and are you talking about Africa? What are you particularly talking? Okay. I gotta get, you know what? I gotta get my passport. I have been talking about going to Africa for a very, very long time. And believe me, I'm gonna get there one of these days, but I have to get a passport. And you weren't here earlier, but AI is not making it easier for me. AI is not making it easier for me. Why are people who keep complaining about again, AI is not making it easier for me. But I want to show y'all this real quick. This is the type of shit that irks my nerves, but let me see. This is my favorite one.
So the Ghanaian president is trying to garner reparations based off the history of the transatlantic slave trade, trying to say that his people or Africans were taken from their home and brought over to America to experience atrocities and terrorism and what have you. We all know the story and stuff like that. The thing is, as an American man, I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of the people that were put in bondage here on this land were from North America. I'm not saying that the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen. I'm not saying that there weren't certain Africans that came over here. The Africans that came over here got absorbed by the people that were already here, and that's how that goes, point blank, period. And we do not want other nations getting credit for stuff that we immediately went through. Now you want to talk about the Africans that came from the continent. Those were rival tribes that you guys put in bondage and sold off to the white man. That's the story, that's the history. So why do you get reparations for that? We don't want to hear that. This goes back to you guys co-opting and hijacking our legacy to garner money. There's plenty of atrocities that happened in Africa that you can, advocate for and go to the UN and ask for reparations for. Why does everything have to be connected to us? Why do you guys always have to use us as a crutch or a tool to get money and get funding? Stop using Black Americans' heritage and legacy to garner sympathy, attention, and resources on behalf of your country. African heritage is different than ethnic Black American heritage in the United States. They are two completely different things. And it needs to be known and it needs to be respected. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. No one's saying that you can't do business with Africans. No one's saying that you can't be friends with Africans. But you need to allow people to have their cultural autonomy. I don't know what to tell y'all, bro.
Bro, please go and relax. You says you are not from Africa. Your ancestors are not from Africa. You are FBA. You are a native, you claim. You guys have nothing to do with Africa. I'm not talking about Black Americans whose ancestors are from Africa, but I'm talking about you who is talking. You claim that you are a native, so the Ghanaian president is representing Black people, but not Black people like you because you are a native. He's not talking about you. He's talking about Black Americans, those whose ancestors are from Africa. He is talking about those people. He is also talking about the Caribbeans, Black people there, whose ancestors are from Africa, and the people on the continent. He is representing us, not you. You, the FBS, you claim that you have nothing to do with Africa. You want to have nothing to do with Africa. So why are you just bothering yourself, in fact? Just relax. The Ghanaian president is not talking about you. He is talking about us. You can just go to the United Nations and do your own thing so that you can also get what? I mean, something from them, perhaps. I think that is what you want. Since you FBS, you claim that you have nothing to do with we the Black people. That is okay. So the Ghanaian president is representing us and the Black people who are in America, but those whose ancestors are from the continent in Africa. Not you, by the way. Just relax and chill.
Ooh. Oh. Tell that to Trump. He will laugh at you. Trying to tell you. Trying to tell you who these people are. These people are not in your favor. You can complain to them all day, but unless you're a nation that's full of people who are not going to take, who have enough power to say we ain't going to take this shit no more, and not jump into ideologies or tribalisms and stuff. We're doing our own tribalisms here. What are we talking about? We're doing our own tribalisms here in America. Y'all Negroes are not going to get reparations. Get over that shit. Just get over it. The people from Ghana are not preferring to you. They're not preferring to you. You don't want nothing to do with them, and they don't want nothing to do with you. So why are we going through this back and forth? All right, y'all. I know I pissed Lisa off, and I know Barb, she was like, what am I still doing though? I gotta check on We-On-Loc and see what he's doing. He's up to no good. I'm just up doing my ridiculous shit. Don't be calling me up late at night when it was like cussing me out and stuff like that. You was wagging your finger. Don't do that. Yep. I'm worried about you. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I just give me a little bit. I am fine. The ridiculousness. Wait, I gotta read that. The ridiculousness to claim harm from illegislated state trade when that region activity participated in selling and trading their prisoners of war. Agreed. But what can we do? Ethiopian. That's what the Ethiopian church has a recorded of the slave trade using Black Ethiopians selling trans. We found out that the money invested in leisure slave ships. Oh, we got. I'll give you a plate up and ready for. Oh, y'all always talk about dinners and stuff like that. Why don't y'all ever talk about giving me a plate? Well, y'all never talk about giving me a plate. Why don't you provide We-On-Loc with a plate? Where's my plate at, Barb? You don't never talk about giving me a fucking plate. Jeez. Never talk about giving me a plate. Those who are just coming in, thank you for the stream. Thank you for coming in the stream. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with my black ass. But see, before I get anything else, what is happening? We are about to call it. Well, bring your hungry ass on. Bring your hungry ass. All right, I guess I could do one more of these. Let me see. What else these Negroes are complaining about? Thousands and thousands of Negroes, and we complaining about the same dumbass shit. Oh my goodness. Let me see. We got FBA news. What is the FBA news?
The only African reporter.
Yesterday, I went to see firsthand how the people is feeling and the president's message, President
She talking about the Congo. Pay attention.
And let me tell you firsthand what I witnessed myself. I spoke with the people in the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump.
They know Trump's name in the Congo.
Peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day.
Some dumbass niggas.
What you're doing as a future, better future for
Oh,
I
dumb.
had opportunity to see
Oh, white colonizers already in the fucking Congo, stupid. Fuck. I just noticed the gas prices. Yeah, gas prices too sweet, but I'll talk about all that tomorrow. But until then, all y'all who are here today supporting, support the channel. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I am out. Until next time. And over here, thank you for your support. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. I am going to go ahead and shut down for the I'm gonna go ahead and shut down.